Picture this. A man, all by himself, starts building a huge boat. He's in his backyard, miles from any lake or ocean. Everyone thinks he's gone bonkers, but he's listening to a voice that only he can hear. Welcome to our show for a new episode in our series all about beginnings.
Hi, that's a powerful image. It drops us right into the heart of the story, and it raises a question that's still important today. What does this story of Noah building his ark tell us about our own choices, our fears, and our relationship with what is bigger than us?
Exactly. Today, we're not just going to retell an ancient story. We're going to see how it shines a light on a human experience that still feels very real to us today.
To begin, let's set the scene. We're in the early chapters of the book of Genesis, which is part of the Jewish tradition.
Yes, and the background of the story is pretty dark. The text describes a world filled with violence and corruption. But in the middle of all this, God finds one person, Noah. He is described as a good and righteous man.
So you can feel the tension. On one side, you have a world that seems to be ruining itself. On the other, God decides to stop all the badness with a great flood. But God also wants to save one good family, Noah and his kids.
And that's when the story really gets going. God speaks to Noah, tells him about the coming flood, and gives him a very specific task. Build an ark to save yourself, your family, and a pair of every kind of animal.
It's a promise of safety in the middle of a warning of destruction. And Noah's reaction is the real turning point of the whole story. The text simply says, Noah did everything just as God commanded him.
There's no talking back. No arguments at all. Just complete obedience. You can imagine the big difference between his strong belief and everyone else's fear. Or maybe they just didn't understand. He simply followed what he was told, even without seeing any proof.
This important moment is about a meeting. It's when God speaks and Noah decides. God's message gives the story meaning, but Noah's actions make it real.
What did Noah risk? Everything. His good name, his energy, his safety. People might think he was a bit crazy, but by acting, he learned to trust God. He could do something much bigger than himself.
So, the change was very deep. It wasn't just building a big boat. It was the start of a new trust with God. The results went far beyond just Noah. His choice affected all people and all creation.
Now, let's look at the main ideas. From a human point of view, this story shows great courage. It's about having the courage to follow your heart, to make a choice that's different from everyone else. It comes from a strong belief inside.
On the spiritual side, it's very meaningful. The story shows God is fair and just. He doesn't ignore what's wrong, but he is also kind and merciful. He doesn't want to destroy everything. He always looks for a partner to start fresh.
Exactly right. This story is foundational in the Bible. The ark saving from the flood is a powerful picture. It shows how God saves us. It sets the stage for God's promises to people. This isn't a simple tale. It's one step in a much bigger story.
And all of this still matters today. Noah's story can remind us of our own choices. Times when we have to start fresh or make a big change in our lives.
Let's think about this. Is there anything in my life right now that feels like a big mess or even a huge flood? And in that tricky spot, do I hear a little voice inside, a feeling telling me to build an ark, even if it seems a little wild?
Maybe we can try to figure out what inside us needs a decision. Then, pick one simple thing to do this week. It could be like putting down the first plank to build something new. And of course, take some time to read this story again by yourself.
So, if we had to pick one main idea, it's this. Noah's story reminds us that even with our tough choices, tricky times, and big changes, a much bigger story keeps going. And guess what? We get to be a part of it.
This story keeps going. And in our next episode, we'll explore what happens right after the big flood. We'll also learn about the special promise God makes with Noah.
Before we go, we have this prayer for you. Dear Lord, please help us understand your words. Through the story of Noah builds the ark, help us see our own challenges. Help us listen to your call and move forward with more truth, trust, and faithfulness. Amen.
And we'll leave you with this question. What part of Noah building the ark connects most with what you're going through today? Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the rest of our series. See you next time.